Welcome to Influential Entrepreneurs, bringing you interviews with elite business leaders and experts, sharing tips and strategies for elevating your business to the next level. Here's your host, Mike Saunders.
Well, hello and welcome to this episode of Influential Entrepreneurs. This is Mike Saunders, the Authority Positioning Coach. Today we have with us Lalaena Gonzalez-Figueroa. Lalaena, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Mike. It's great to be here.
Hey, so I know you are a real estate agent with Trinity Team, Keller Williams. Give us a little bit of a background on yourself. What led you to the field of real estate? I always find it very interesting when real estate is typically a profession where you come from a variety of backgrounds, and there tends to be like one trigger thing that makes people go, you know what, one time this happened and it made me think I could do that and I would love it, and now my career is thriving. So what is your story?
Absolutely. Well, I grew up in Florida. I'm from Miami originally and moved around a ton. Actually didn't really live in a home until I was in my 30s. And so in my background, I've worked as an elementary school teacher and taught adults in creative writing. I worked in a number of other professional settings. And real estate came calling when I married a man who was in construction. And we realized we had an opportunity to build something amazing together, no pun intended, with his construction skills and my opportunity to go into real estate.
Neat. So then did you get into like building or fix and flip or speculation?
We did fix and flip, and it was a great opportunity for us. I left teaching when I had children, stayed at home. I actually worked as a writer as well for real estate magazines, incidentally, and doing some fix and flips while my husband had his company allowed us to, one, keep me at home, learn the real estate business from the inside out, and create a future for ourselves, which is really an amazing thing. And it gave me that understanding not only of real estate, the deals, the ins and outs of real estate, but also the importance of real estate and what it really, truly can do to someone for their future.
You know, I think it's interesting that you bring up the ins and the outs, because I think that's a really powerful piece for people to understand working with you, which is you didn't just go take a class, pass a test, and yay, I can do real estate. You've done it, and you probably have made a mistake or two personally in your transactions where now you can say, you know what, when I work with my clients now, I really know how to advise them because I messed up here, and here was the lesson I learned, and I want to keep you from messing up. So is that some of the life lessons and business lessons you've been able to learn from your personal experience in real estate?
You know, that's a really great perspective. We were fortunate in that we never had some big screw-ups, right? We've always been profitable and always had a great home at the end of the deal, and definitely have learned what the hiccups are and the challenges that arise in the real estate transaction. So yes, and because at some point we were living in our flips and moving, it gave me another opportunity when I'm working with buyers and sellers. You know, sellers tell them declutter, get the house ready. It's a lot easier said than done. And you forget that when you're not moving every year. So there was a period of time where that was incredibly helpful. And also just remembering that emotional connection that you have to a home and how amazing and challenging and heartbreaking and exciting the whole experience of making a move, buying a home, selling a home can be.
See, I think that is an untapped aspect of working with a realtor, because when you can bring your personal experience like what you have, I don't think a lot of prospective buyers or sellers will interview their prospective agent and say, tell me about the emotional aspect I will be facing. Mm-hmm. They don't know that. And it's kind of like from psychology and maybe teaching, you've heard this, you don't know what you don't know. And people don't know that there's those aspects. And when you can bring it up just in conversation and just in teaching them the process as you're working with them, I think it would really resonates well. And they almost like subconsciously go, she gets me. Yeah. I didn't even know I felt that way, but yes. And then you can kind of guide them through the process. And I think that really forges a great bond.
Absolutely. It's a gift to be able to make those connections in that way and to have a client's eyes light up or to see that sigh of relief. It's a visible thing when they say, okay, you get it, you understand, or I know I'm in for something and I know you're here to help. It's a great feeling.
Yes. So real estate is a really competitive market, and I would suspect that you have maybe one, at the most two competitors in the whole state of Colorado, pun intended. So, I mean, real estate is a very competitive market. So why should someone choose you? What are some of the things you bring, in addition to what we've talked about, but what are some of the approaches and competitive advantages that you bring with working with your clients?
Well, I really care about my clients, and it becomes a personal goal to help my clients achieve their goals. When you're helping someone realize a significant objective in their life, they've got to be more than a number, and they've got to be more than a commission, And so each client is somebody that I'm consulting with. We're looking for their long and short-term goals. We're looking for their wants and needs and concerns and dreams and hopes. And I am in this to address all of those things, to guide them through the process, and to make sure that in good times and in the rougher moments of a transaction, that my clients feel that they are heard, that they are in control of the situation, and that they are going to end up with a positive outcome. That's critical. Being on the Trinity team is another amazing skill, or not a skill, an advantage for clients who work with me, because they've got the support of not just me, but amazing agents, incredible leadership, wonderful administrative support. So a lot of resources that I bring to the table just automatically that facilitate a transaction that's just as smooth as can be. And again, when a hiccup comes, we're able to resolve it quickly. And finally, I'm very blessed to be bilingual. I speak Spanish fluently, and so I have clients who come to me who really can speak English, but are just more comfortable working with somebody who understands their language and then is a little culturally sensitive and has a little insight into how business is done outside of the system that we're accustomed to here in the United States.
Yeah, that's a really big point there too. The cultural sensitivities and just insights, and I think that just makes another just kind of like a sigh of relief, like what you said. And another piece that you brought up that I really wanted to spotlight is a lot of times you see real estate agents that work with a client and they kind of just hang their shingle on their own door, and they don't have the support of a team. And I know with the Trinity team, being able to draw from the resources from your colleagues, you are the one working with the client, but if there came a situation or a issue in a transaction, you can draw on decades and decades of experience to come back to your client and say, okay, here's what my team was able to help us with, and you're drawing on that, whether it's residential, commercial. And I think the ability to say, I am your whatever you want to say, but I'm your coach, but I've got the whole team behind us, and I think that's a really big piece for people to understand.
Absolutely, and it's allowed me to assist clients outside of the scope of what I normally do. So I've had clients with a home that's in a residential, it's a residential home, but it's in a commercial zone. And so a typical agent is going to really understand what the potential is with that property, but two, how to properly market it and handle it. And because I've got that team behind me, I've got that super advantage for my clients. Absolutely.
So I know that there are so many types of real estate transactions. Do you specialize in any specific ones? Like, are you only a buyer's agent? Do you only work with sellers? Do you work with high-end, low-end, commercial? Is there a sweet spot, or are you just able to help anybody because that is your vast background and experience?
I definitely focus on residential. When I've got a commercial opportunity, I'm bringing in Eric Fritzke, our team leader, to work with me on that. So residential property sales, I work with buyers, sellers. Definitely have worked with higher-end clients and first-time buyers, and sellers as well. So really an array of services. Basically, if you need to buy, sell, or invest, I'm able to help.
What are you seeing right now in the market? Because you bring up invest, and we've talked about fix and flip, and it seems like every month or two or quarter, you see trends change. What are you seeing right now in the market that are opportunities? Is it a buyer's market, a seller's market? Is it good for fix and flips here in the North Denver metro area?
Well, it's a really interesting time. I'm glad you asked. It's in a way a buyer's market and a seller's market. So inventory-wise, it's definitely an advantage for sellers. We've got homes coming back on the market after a little drop due to our annual circumstance here, but interest rates are incredibly low, and so it's a very unique time in our market, and a great time for buyers to achieve their goals and to get into a home and have those amazingly low interest rates, and then also for sellers to have an audience of people who are just waiting for a home to pop up on the market. And as far as investments, that's an interesting question, that when you can find a great deal, and I think that's in any market, right? You find the one that fits your needs, fits your goals as an investor, whether that's to hold it and rent it out or to do a fix and flip. There's definitely opportunities there. I'm working with investors right now and actively looking for my own properties. So, yeah, it's a great time.
Yeah, I mean, at any point, there's always opportunity, but it just really gets down to knowing where to look. It's like the old example of, the guy that takes his car to the shop and he says, I hear this horrible knocking my engine, and the mechanic looks around and he grabs a hammer and he bangs it on the engine and he goes, yep, it's fixed. Here's the bill for $50. And it's like, $50? It took you 1 second. He goes, oh, well, it was $1 for the hit, but $49 to know where to hit it. So it's like in your case, yeah, there's a lot of opportunities there, but if you don't know where to look or what to look for or what to analyze or assess to make sure it's a good investment, buy, seller, or invest, you can make some pretty big mistakes in real estate. And I think having that person to guide you is just so important.
That's so true. And what's critical is, I'm limited. Like you said earlier, you don't know what you don't know. So I know what I know, right? And I'm always building that knowledge. But I've also surrounded myself with amazing people. So in addition to my team, I work with great lenders there are lenders who specialize in, let's say, people who want to invest and really assessing their specific situations, their specific goals, and helping them even hone in on what types of properties. I've done that in the past with my clients too, making sure they have diverse portfolios, right? And then with buyers and sellers, just making sure that they're making decisions, because ultimately it's their decision, what they're going to buy, when they're going to buy, how they're going to sell. But making sure they have the information, the resources, and the objective perspective that I can bring to say, okay, these are all the options, these are all the choices, here's how I want to proceed. And then I facilitate that and guide them through that process.
Yes. Yeah, and I think keyword is just guide. You're not the one to tell people do this and do that. You're the one just guiding, and then your clients are the ones getting the benefit of that. So let's talk about the changing marketplace that we're in, because as with anything, things change. At the time of this recording, we're in the midst of the COVID type situation, but that's going to pass. But if we look backwards in time, there's been a lot of changes in the industry and in the marketplace. Used to be that people would get that big yellow book and look for the solution to their problem. And also back in the day, you would go to a real estate closing for 4.5 days, it seems like, and have all these papers to sign. And now the trend is moving to, let's just sign up and grab the iPad and tap, sign initial, and things are more electronic and streamlined. What are you seeing in the real estate marketplace that is changing, and how are people needing to adapt?
Well, that's another great question. The market is constantly changing. Now, I didn't get into the business when they had the big MLS books. I've always had access to technology, which has made my life easier and my clients' life easier. But we have seen those changes. And the critical element, I think, as an agent and as a professional in this industry is to be responsive and nimble and to say, okay, I know that I can adapt my business and adapt my style to accommodate these new technological advances, or to accommodate this new style of, let's say, communication with other agents or closings. What's also really important is to stay focused on the foundation of real estate, which is people and relationships. So maintaining communication. Now I can text, now I can email, but of course I'm still calling. I'm still having face-to-face meetings because we're still human beings, right? And we still want those connections. But I think ongoing education is critical, and really not just taking classes, but really examining opportunities to evolve as an agent to make sure that I'm at the cutting edge of what's happening in real estate, so people aren't coming to me and asking me about programs and products and trends that I'm not aware of, right? I'm here to be the consultant and the expert and the authority on real estate. So taking a lot of classes, collaborating and being collegial, working with other agents because they're in the trenches as well, and we see different things and come from different perspectives. And then just looking at what's happening. I mean, COVID threw us all for a loop, and our regulations seem to change daily at times. But it is a great, let's say, kind of a reckoning, right? If you weren't able to be nimble and responsive in your business before, this is really going to show you either you need to get going or you need to maybe reconsider what you're doing. And I've been fortunate to be in a position where I can handle the changes. I don't love the changes right now, but definitely adapt as needed and make sure that I'm protecting my clients, whether they're buyers or sellers, protecting their contracts, and really protecting their goals, which is typically equity, Yeah,
and I think it's such a big thing that you mentioned about building relationships. And yes, we may use technology today to facilitate that. And it's not just, here's a text and that's all I heard from my agent. It's the face-to-face. It's the live video call. It's the phone message. It's the email. It's the text. And I'm available when you need me kind of a feel. And yeah, that person might not need a 20-minute phone call every single time that there's an update. They might just need that quick text, but they know you're right there for the call, for the video call. And I think that having technology at the fingertips is a huge, huge piece for people to know, I can access the wisdom of my agent, the team, the industry, whenever I need to. And that's kind of like a really powerful thing today is that knowledge and access.
Absolutely. And absolutely having a Zoom call or a FaceTime call, even in the middle of a transaction, being able to connect on that level is really helpful. And I think it's reassuring to clients to know that they don't get 24-hour access, right? I have my time, but I'm definitely able to meet their needs. And COVID is going to come and go, like you said, but there are other reasons why a video call may be very necessary. And being able to effectively communicate and work with someone through those mediums is, I think, critical to long-term success in our industry.
Awesome. Well, Lalaena, is so great connecting with you today. What's the best way people can reach out and learn more about you and connect with you and maybe see if their real estate needs are something that you can help them with?
Well, I really like getting a phone call. My cell phone is 303-815-5488. I'm on Facebook, so it's facebook.com and then /Lalaena. And then Trinity Team realestateco.com is my team's website. And when you're at the home page, you just click on Meet Our Team, scroll down, and I'm actually the first agent that will show up in the list right now.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
After Eric.
Oh, yeah, we got to get the team leader at number one. Yes, but scroll down, you'll see there on the team.
Right. Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
You've been listening to Influential Entrepreneurs with Mike Saunders. To learn more about the resources mentioned on today's show or listen to past episodes, visit www.influentialentrepreneurssradio.com.